Well, we're back again this week for another edition of Te Akau TV here on Christmas Eve, Reese. How's it all coming together going into the busy Christmas season?
Really good things, Hazy. Look, the racing really ramps up now, and the team are working incredibly well, and the horses are looking good, and hopefully we can strike some form heading into where the big prize money is.
And there's a bit of a weather bomb likely to hit at this stage on Thursday morning. How's the team feeling about that?
Well, hopefully Ellerslie's track can hold it, and it won't matter. But look, in all fairness, their horses handle a bit of juice in the track anyway, so it won't bother them too much.
Well, let's start off there at Ellerslie, and we're going to kick off there in race number 2, the race for the 2-year-olds. We've got Belle du Monde, who looked impressive on her debut, coming second, and then ran a nice trial thereafter.
She ran really well. It was her first time off the Matamata-based property in that experience at Ellerslie. She'd only trialled at Matamata previously, so she did well in that experience, and she's taken a lot of improvement from there. Her trial at Pukekohe 10 days ago sort of thing was really good and encouraging. She'll end up in a beautiful spot. Great to have Blake Shanova. He's obviously a world-class jockey and one of the leading riders in the world. He'll give her a peach, and I'm sure she'll be in it for a long way.
And race number 7 is the Group 2, Shaw's Wire Ropes, Auckland Guineas. We have got Damask Rose, the favourite, going around that race with Blake Shan on board as well.
She's going really well. She bounced straight through Te Rapa well. Obviously, the wide draw doesn't help us one bit, but look, she'll be midfield, bit of cover, and we know that she handles Ellerslie, and she's got an explosive turn of foot, and expect to see her in the finish.
Over to the Group 1 on the card there, the Cambridge Studs Zabeel Classic, weight for age 2,000 metres. Campion lines up after a fairly good second there at Te Rapa, last start behind Snazzy Tabby.
Up to 2,000 metres is a big tick. She's drawn nicely. She'll get a nice drag into it. Obviously, Snazzy Tabby, ladies' man, it's a very good field, probably a touch better than it was last year, which is great to see, but she's going as good as ever and expect her to be right in the finish.
And the last race in the card there, race number 10, the Stella Artois 1500 Championship Final. El Viento finds his way up from the south via a trip to Wellington, and Francie Fahano stud won, I think, the same race last year.
El Viento, a couple of ordinary rides in his last couple. But look, Opie back on's a big help. First time racing at Ellerslie. Obviously, he'll take a lot from the experience, but he is a good horse. He's going to end up in a good spot from that draw. I think they'll run along at a good tempo, which will suit a horse like him. Francie, obviously, the draw is going to absolutely kill her. She's just going to have to go back and swallow her medicine, but she's going as good as ever. She just had no luck whatsoever last time, so the 1,500 metres suits her. If she got the right run in transit, she'd show up.
Over to Otaki there, we kick off on race number 3, by her rules, the Kermadec filly.
She's going okay. Obviously, with that little mishap at New Plymouth where she was late scratch, but she's bounced through that good. 1,400 metres suits her. She's drawn a nice barrier. Great to have Sam Collard over from Brisbane. But obviously, there's a couple of nice breed horses in this race. There's a half sister to Akau having its first start, so that'll be awfully hard to beat of Alan Sharrock's. But on her day, this filly could pop up and run a race.
And down to race number 5, Marri Caro found himself on a very classy field last start at Te Rapa. Now probably down in class a bit in this race.
He looks very well placed here. Obviously, he'll have to do a bit of work from that gate to roll to the top, but hopefully he can do that. And if he got a break on them at the top of the straight, I'm sure he'd be really hard to run down, because he did show a good kick at Te Rapa the other day. It was just fresh up. He blew out the last bit, but he's going well.
Race number 6, we've got Elegant Lady, drawn barrier through with Lisa Allpress on board.
Miles probably short of her best, but she's drawn a soft barrier. She should land into a good spot, but as long as she's hitting the line strongly, we'll keep heading south where she races best.
And race number 8 there, Millie B, wraps up the runners at Otaki.
Also on her way down to the South Island, the 2,300 metres will suit. She just keeps grinding away at those longer trips. She's drawn to get a soft run. Hopefully Sam Collett can work some magic and get her home.
Down the line in Otago at Wingatui, we kick off in race number 1, Queen's Consort, drawn wide and barrier 15.
Yeah, track's a heavy 10 at the moment, so that's no concern. The concern to us is whether she'll handle it. She's only ever trialled on firm ground, so we're unknown, but we'll give her opportunity since she'll be in the best part of the track. But up to 1,400 meters on pedigree will certainly help her.
And race number 2, Fflight carries the top weight with 60 kilos, draws barrier 1.
Drawn awkwardly. Track will be awkward for him, but he just needs to run to get some miles into his legs for the Wellington Cup.
Race number 4, we've got Sailing Away.
So he's double nominated. He's probably going to get a run in the other race. So he's in the consolation race in race 4, but he's drawn very similar in both. He's a horse that gets up on speed, and if he got it his own way, I'm sure he'd be right in the finish. I think this progeny of Merchant Navy don't mind a bit of juice in the track either.
And race number 6, Millie F looks relatively well placed here with 55.5 kilos on her back.
Back to the 1,200 meters does help her. She just grinded at the 1,300, but was good from an awkward spot. Hopefully we can jump and be into a nicer spot than we were the other day. But she's going well and expect her to race well.
And race number 7 is the listed New Zealand Bloodstock Insurance Stakes. I believe the team won this race a few years back, or maybe last year with Kai. Star Shadow takes her place in this field, drawn barrier 9 with Ashvin Gundasamy on board.
Probably just the firm nature of the ground tripped her up a bit at Wellington the other day, but she's drawn nicely. She should be able to get into the best part of the ground. She'll have no hold-ups. So hopefully she's taken improvement from that first up run, and being just in a bit weaker opposition in the South Island, she can pick up some black type.
And 2 take their place. We've spoken about Sailing Away in race number 8, but Rule of Law joins Sailing Away in this race.
He's very doubtful. He's a big boy that likes good ground, so he's very doubtful of going there.
Excellent. Over to Taranaki there. I think it must be the day after. It's a Friday. We kick off in race number 2. It's a 2-year-old race. Deto Prier, first time to the races, ran 3rd. Now comes to the races second time, draws barrier 5 with Craig Girls on board.
He's going really well. He's had a good freshen up since his first up run. He trialled up nicely at Pukekohe. It's great to see him relax so good. From barrier 5, we'll just let him find his feet, get himself into a rhythm, and I'm sure he can finish over the top of them. It is the race that Damascus won last year, so hopefully we have enough prize money just to sneak him into the millions with some fresh legs in a month's time afterwards.
And race number 4, Angel Wings, draws barrier 4 with Craig Girls on board.
1,100 meters suits her. She's drawn a nice barrier. She'll get into a good position. Obviously, first up after a long break, she's certainly going to take improvement off, but her trials have been good, and it would not surprise us if she really popped up.
And 5 in the fields there at Rotorua on Saturday, kicking off in race number 1, Colonel Warden draws barrier 4 with OP Boston taking them out.
Blink is back on, and his work this morning was excellent, being Tuesday. Really happy with the way he's looking. Obviously, he was just a bit plain first up, but expect sharp improvement with the blinkers on.
Race number 3, the daughter of Shocking, Shockabella takes her place, drawn barrier 7. Craig Girls takes the ride.
Just didn't get a fair crack at them whatsoever at Tauranga, but he's a filly with real ability, and up to 1,400 meters was certainly going to help her, so expect to see her finishing off strongly.
And race number 4 there, the homebred filly Crown Princess draws barrier 5 with Wiremu Pin.
She was excellent in a very strong race first up at Ellerslie. Up to the 1560 is ideal for her. We're actually going to throw a nomination in for the Royal Stakes the Sir Patrick Hogan Royal Stakes on New Year's Day over 2,000. It's a race that we've been able to sneak some black type out of fillies in the past. So we think a lot of this filly and expect her to race very well.
And race number 5 there, another homebred in Plenty of Style, draws barrier 7 with Opie Boston on.
He's certainly going to take sharp improvement from this first up run. He's looking really good, but he's really big in condition, so he'll just get himself into a good rhythm, get breathing, and as long as he's showing us that he's ready to go back down the South Island, we'll be happy.
And race number 7, Puzzle Master, hasn't been seen since October, where he saluted on the synthetic. After two races on the synthetic, how's he going to go on the turf? Fresh up.
He'll go really well. He's freshened up nicely. He's looking good. His work's been excellent. He's trotting sound, eating up good. It's very good horseless, we believe. He might be able to sneak himself into an Almanzor trophy or something like that along the way. But from the draw, I hope he should be able to give him a peach, and hopefully he can show that form he had on the synthetic, because he was very good in his first prep, and he's only going to take improvement into this prep.
And races there at Fflight Raceway in Timaru there on Saturday as well. We kick off in Race number 2, where we have Porsche Katonis.
So she's also nominated for Kurau just with the track conditions. But look, she was excellent. Second up, great to see her hitting the line so strongly. She took really sharp improvement from her first up run to her second up run. So as long as she keeps going that way, she should be right in the finish.
Excellent. And then next up, we've got race number 4, Renaissance Man, on the ballot, currently number 1 balloted.
Look, he improved. He just grinded over the mile, but obviously he's bred to get this trip and even further. So expect him to be hitting the line strongly.
And 2 take their place in race number 6, Knowledge is Power and About Last Night.
Knowledge is Power is racing really genuinely. Obviously, he's a horse that likes to get up on speed and get on with it. We'll do much the same again, and Diego gets on with them really well. About Last Night, she's freshened up nicely and looking good. She's going to take sharp improvement from her first up run, but expect to see her in the winner's circle and a couple more.
Excellent. And then down to race number 7, we've got Insatiable, draws barrier 10.
Was really good at Wellington. He just probably didn't get the luck when we needed it. It was no one's fault, but he enjoys the South Island stable. Hunter's got him going really well, which is great, and expect him to race very well in this sort of field.
And race number 9, there we've got Cant Catch Me.
Obviously, the synthetic tripped her up last start, but back onto turf helps her, and a bit of moisture in the ground certainly isn't going to bother her one bit. We'll just ride her as we always do, just quietly, and let her use that explosive turn of foot in her finish.
Excellent. And over to Sunday to wrap up the week's runners at Wanganui. 2 homebred mares take their place in race number 5 in Sorcha and French Rose.
They're both going to take improvement off their first up runs. They're on their way to the South Island where they race very well, but they do find themselves in a very winnable race. Probably put Sorcha ahead of French Rose, and it's great to have Jonathan Riddell a part of the team with her. He's a good, strong rider, and I'm sure he'll get the best out of her in the finish.
And Reese, where are we going for the best bet? I think you gave us one last week there. You can probably give us a couple, given we've got 7 meetings to cover.
Look, I think Belden Bond on Boxing Day, Ellerslie, she's going to be awfully hard to beat. Apart from that, the races are pretty wide open. Puzzle Master, he looks like a nice each-way chance also, but definitely Belden Bond's the best of the team.
Excellent, Reese. Well, thanks for your time. Next week, Taupo, there's a number of runners there on Monday, New Plymouth Tuesday, before we head back to Ellerslie there on the first meeting of 2025. So once again, Reese, thanks for your time today going through all of the runners, and have a really good Christmas, and we'll catch you up with you there on Boxing Day.